Isaac Hempstead-Wright, Bran Stark, thank you so much for joining us on Thronecast.
My pleasure, it's good to be back.
We're gradually learning more about Bran's magical abilities. Can you tell us a little bit more about his ability to enter the mind of animals?
So Bran has always had, a special connection to his wolves ever since the very start. Throughout the seasons, he's gradually begun to understand it and to actually utilise it rather than just sort of letting it take control of him. And Jojen is crucial in that, in sort of helping him to understand it, because he's been through the same thing. And essentially what it is Bran can go into other creatures, whether that be a wolf or whether it be Hodor, which we see in season 3.
Do you know if Bran can do that with other people as well?
Well, yeah, that's a good point, because if he could rule the world.
Exactly. It becomes this very dominating force.
Yeah. And in taking control of Hodor, I don't even know if Bran's entirely, happy with it or even understands it, because certainly Hodor doesn't seem to be too big a fan of it.
Yeah. Bran seemed quite freaked out himself when he did it.
Yeah.
Hopefully he won't use it for the job. Have you any idea where that ability has come from with Bran?
Well, later in this series, we might learn a little bit more about it.
When Bran enters the minds of animals, is it dangerous for him, do you think?
There's a scene in this season where, Bran's trying to feed on food through Summer, his wolf.
Oh, wow.
And it's not entirely a good thing, because as Mira points out, he'll get more and more, trapped in the body of Summer until, he's not Bran anymore.
With that in mind, do you think that he's got control of the powers, or do you think they might consume him?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see, whether he turns into this sort of evil, maniacal genius who sort of takes control of everybody like pawns.
Where do you see Bran's path going in this series and the next? Do you think he might turn to the dark side, like we were just talking about?
I kind of hope he does.
It would be very cool.
It would be really cool to
He's
be
got all
like
the powers.
King of the White Walkers charging down. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be epic. So we know that Bran has got quite a few magical powers. They're sort of mounting up there. And one of the new ones that we see more of is green sight. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
So green sight is the idea of, being able to see through the weirwood trees. And Bran seems to have this connection with being able to sort of morph into things, or, go into different animals or trees or human beings. What's really great about green sight is you can look in the future, you can look in the past through any tree, through the eyes of the tree. And I reckon that could be hugely useful to Bran, not only to be able to, check what's happening in the future or the football scores, but, to look back. And we see in this season him touching the tree, and that really is the sort of the start of this whole new aspect of green sight.
So after we see you touch the tree and have this insight, where does that lead? What do you find out?
From that moment on, Bran knows exactly where he's going. It's almost as if he's got like the longitude and latitude coordinates from this magical tree.
So it clears it all up for him.
And he sees exactly these 4 peaks, the giant weirwood tree, and from that moment on, it's he's had distractions previously to try and sort of guide him away, but this is the absolute final. I know exactly where I'm going.
Do we think that Bran's character has got a different path above and beyond the warring and the politics of Westeros?
Well, I think definitely with this mystical, magical sense, there's got to be something more to him than just, the kid who has visions. And the magic in the Game of Thrones world is very well done in the sense that it's not, a keeper. It's not as if it's rife throughout the kingdom. Some of the people there are just as sceptical about it as we would be in the real world. Osha doesn't even like it. She thinks it's black magic.
In other books and things like that, magic is often the all-powerful thing, whereas here it's sort of an even playing field. Yeah. Because you've got such mighty warriors and everything. Just because you're magic, it doesn't mean you're going to win. Yeah. So following the Red Wedding, we know that, for example, Arya is perhaps quite intent on revenge, and Bran has every reason to be. Is that going to change his path?
It's an interesting one, because Bran is very much now following his own path. Because before, I reckon that probably would have incensed him, and it would have been, oh, I want to kill whoever did that. Yeah. But now that he's not just sort of hanging out in Winterfell waiting for the next thing to happen that will change him, and actually, acting on what he wants to happen, I'm not sure if it'll just be a distraction he has to, deal with. Just, you know, he's so focused on finding this strange being which is calling for him that, as sad as it is, it's just, you know, that's what happens. He's already lost his legs. His father's been killed. For all he knows, his sisters are dead. You know, just get on with it.
What would Bran have to say about the death of Joffrey?
Well, I don't know how much Bran knows about Joffrey. You know, he has his whole warging thing, and he can, you know, see. He might be able to, you know, later see around the kingdom, but whether he would actually know exactly how horrendously horrible and vile Joffrey is, I'm not sure if he would. I think, you know, that's the least of his concerns right now. He's got to try and get through this woods to this supernatural calling, which is, you know, screaming at him to come and sort of find. So the death of Joffrey will just be, you know, another death to him in the sense that he's already lost half his family. It's unfortunately become a regular occurrence.
Finally, do you think that one day we might see Bran enter the mind of a dragon?
Maybe.
Very mysterious.
That would be the coolest.
Maybe.
That would be
so
the coolest.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, that would be so cool.
After we were just saying, magic, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it is if you're inside a dragon.
Yeah, if you're inside a dragon, I don't think there are many ways you can lose.
No. Well, that's what we're looking forward to in series to come. Isaac, thank you very much for joining us on Thronecast.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.